Chelsea fans, the Conference League is back. Copenhagen hosts Chelsea Thursday the 6th of March at the 5:45 PM kickoff at the Parken Stadium. And Chelsea need to go big or go home. This is the round of 16 of the Conference League. We're starting to get into the business end of the competition, and Enzo Maresca needs to field a strong squad to get us over the line. The Conference League squad was updated in January to include players like Cole Palmer, so if we do need him, we can bring him on, but I don't expect him to be playing full 90s. Now, I personally think that Chelsea need to go out and get the job done in this first leg of the round of 16, but that's just my opinion. So in this video, I'm going over why Enzo Maresca needs to pick this Chelsea 11 for Copenhagen versus Chelsea. Not only that, I am going to be going over the latest Chelsea news and predicting Chelsea's starting 11. Did you know that 90% of the people watching this video right now are currently not subscribed to the channel? So make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. Make sure you join the community, and let's get into the video. So let's kick things off with the latest Chelsea news. The first one we got is from Ben Jacobs, and he says, Esteval is viewed as a generational talent and is expected to be part of the first team straight away in 25-26. Esteval has long-term aspirations to play as a number 10. Joe Shields and Alson Marins are now battling with Arsenal, Bayern and Barca for Mech. Now, this is super interesting for me, because Esteval is an incredible talent. I mean, to be honest, all I've seen is clips off of Twitter, but he looks unbelievable. You know, 30 GA, the first player to do it since Neymar in 2010 at the age of like 17 is absolutely wild. And I'm hoping that he is involved in the first team. Will he just walk into that starting 11? I don't think so straight away. You've got to adapt to the English league. He's still only 18 years old. Do I feel like he will be treated like any other youngster of his age? No. I feel like he will be adapted very, very quickly. I think he'll play an important role in the Club World Cup just to kind of test the feels. And I feel like he'll be playing first team football relatively soon in the new season. So super excited to see Esteval, because all we see is him being better and better, scoring worldies, skinning people. Like, yeah, he just looks like an incredible talent. The next report we have is from Give Me Sport and Fabrizio Romano, and he says sources at Chelsea insist on this point. Maresca is untouchable. A key part of the project, with the club very happy to continue with him, no matter what happens in the final months. Owners, managers, players all trust him. It's very different from Pochettino. And you do kind of get this sense that it's very different with Maresca. And, you know, I speak to a lot of my community as much as I can. Some people are saying, well, you know what, they did this with Poch and then they switched and they got rid of him, or they walked away, like mutually, whatever it may have actually been. You get a feeling it's different from Maresca. You get a feeling that the owners are actually going to try and do something long-term. Whether we agree with the model and the way they're spending the money is a completely different sort of story. You know, I personally don't agree with what they're doing. It doesn't seem to make any sense, but they're sort of holding their fingers crossed and praying that it works, and using someone like Maresca to bring the best out of these players. And we are starting to see people are overlooking the first half of the season, going, it's just a purple patch for Maresca. We were literally like one game or one win away from going top of the league before Christmas. Like, that's a massive, massive improvement. And the team has improved from last season to this season, in my opinion. Yes, we've gone through, you know, some bad form, and we just got that win against Southampton. We've got Copenhagen tomorrow night, but then got Leicester at the weekend, Copenhagen again. Then it's Arsenal, then it's Tottenham. You know, we've got a nice little run of games to kind of turn things around, boost our confidence, progress even further in the UEFA Conference League as well. So I feel like when you look at his entire season, when the season's finished, you look at the overall, we'll be going, yeah, he's had a good season there. And I back Maresca. I think I like the way he talks. I like the way he speaks. I don't like some of the things he said. That doesn't mean I agree wholeheartedly with everything. I think some of the things he said in press conferences, I'm just like, why are you saying that? But I like his sort of tone, his thought process, and the way he's to the point, or especially how he was in the first half of the season. So, you know, time will tell. And I know that that we had the protest, Chelsea fans are angry, and I think a lot of that is at the owners. It's not at Maresca himself. Yes, he can be stubborn and he needs to change things around, but over the season he has adapted and changed and tried new things, and we've seen that. You know, Pedro Neto as a 9 has become something that's worked very, very well in the absence of Jackson and Mark Guiu. So yeah, I fully back that. To say he's untouchable is a bit of a long stretch, especially at a club like Chelsea. But again, I might be referring to the old Chelsea under Roman, where no one was untouchable. Ancelotti won the double and was sacked down the tunnel. Do you know what I mean? It's you know, It's wild. The next report is from Liam Twoney, and he says Chelsea remain interested in Mark Gahey. He is a polished leader, established international, and is entering the final year of his contract and has only missed 13 matches in 3.5 years. That's quite impressive, especially for a centre-back, a very physical position. I like Mark Gahey. And I feel like Chelsea should have gone in for him in January because we needed to bolster that defensive line. If we were interested in Gahey, I would have played the inflated price in January because we were also linked with him last summer and we didn't go for him. Now, obviously, I know it's a business now rather than a football club, which really pains me to say. So that's why we're waiting for him to go into the final year of the contract so we can save some pennies. Because I believe we are something stupid like 1.2, 1.3 million pounds in debt. So for PSR, we have to sell, offload to then recruit or whatnot, however they're trying to work it out. But I fully back this. I think Mark Gahey would be a fantastic signing. And I think, he is an established international and he is a polished leader and he does so well for Palace. And I think he would do incredibly well for Chelsea. And maybe that's the type of defender that you need in and around a Levi Colwill and a Wesley Fofana, because you're injecting a young player who's also got the experience of the Premier League. So, hey, I fully back that. S. Johnson Sport has reported that Badiashile and Chalobah return from injury and are available tomorrow against Copenhagen. Now, me personally, we're going to get into my predicted 11. I am grateful that they are back because even though I dislike Badiashile like anything I've ever disliked in my life, we very much need that rotation in the centre-back positions. Otherwise, we're going to have Levi Colwill and Tosin just burn out. So Chalobah being back is a massive plus, and Badiashile is a good addition to have for rotation, because as much as I dislike the guy and as much as I don't rate him as his ability, when he's come on as a sub or in the recent games before his injury, he has actually played pretty good. And there is a good player in there. I just feel like he's just super inconsistent, and just when he was in that low confidence mood, you just knew he was going to make a silly mistake every single game. So hopefully when he comes back from injury, he can start having more solid performances and get the Chelsea fans on side, I suppose. And lastly, from The Athletic, since joining Chelsea, Wesley Fofana has played just 20.5% of the available first team minutes for Chelsea across all competitions. I really like Wesley Fofana, and he's still fit. He's back fit from his injury, right? 20% or 20.5% is not a lot of minutes. However, Chelsea fans, we've been on this merry-go-round with Reece James. It's every single season, right? And we always say, but he's such a good player when he's fit. And I feel like Wesley Fofana's made of glass, to be honest, just like Reece James. However, I like what we were seeing from Fofana just before his injury. His partnership with Colwill was becoming so solid. Week by week, you could see it improve. And I think we massively miss Wesley Fofana. Yes, he might have the odd mistake in him, but I feel like the positives massively outweigh the negatives with Fofana. Other than the injury, availability is the best quality. So I'm hoping that he comes back from this injury stronger because, again, I feel like we just miss him. That's it for all the Chelsea news. Let's get into predicting the Chelsea starting 11 to face Copenhagen. Now, this is going to be interesting. I personally believe that we should be going strong. We should go hard or go home. We need to wrap this up in the first leg of this game. We really, really do. We've got Copenhagen, then Leicester on Sunday, then we've got Copenhagen again, and then we go to Arsenal. It's a very tight 2-game week back-to-back, and yes, we've got Leicester. Again, it should be another 3 points in the bag, but we still got to go out there and do the job. And then we have Copenhagen on the return leg, and I want the job done before the return leg, if I'm being honest. I don't want to be sitting here in the return leg saying, oh, we need 2 goals, we need 3 goals, or, it's drawing. We actually... we need to win. I want it to be in a position where, the rest of the Conference League competition, where we've absolutely cruised it. I'm not saying that Copenhagen is going to be a breeze. It's actually one of the tougher games we are potentially going to face. We have got a job to do, but I want to get the job done in this first leg. So anyway, starting off in goal, unfortunately, I think it will actually be Robert Sanchez. Let me explain. With Jorgensen being our first choice goalkeeper, we know what happens. We have a rotation between the cup competitions and the Premier League. And if Jorgensen is our first team, like Premier League number 1, then that means that Robert Sanchez has got to get minutes somewhere. And I feel like he will play against Copenhagen, which does worry me a little bit based on what I just said. We have to go strong and go home. I don't see Maresca playing Jorgensen Thursday, then Sunday. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I feel like Sanchez will get minutes in the sticks. Going on to the left back. We've only got one person there, which is Cucurella. I always put Cuca as a nickname. There we go. it's Cucurella. Who else are we going to play left back? We loaned out Vega, and Ben Chilwell's frozen out. So it's Cucurella for me. And, yeah, he's a fantastic player. I love Cucurella. I just hoping doesn't get injured or burnt out with the amount of games that he is playing. But moving on to those centre-back partnerships, and it kind of touched on what I said earlier with Badiashile being back, Chalobah being back. Do I think they're going to start? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to start. I think they'll get minutes for sure. I think we'll be able to rotate. Again, could be wrong. Maresca could be like, right, we're going to stick Badiashile straight in on that left-hand side, give Colwell a break. We're going to play Chalobah and give Tosin a break. But in my humble opinion, I think we will actually see a Colwell and Tosin pairing. Because I'm just guessing. I don't know how ready and prepared Chalobah and Badiashile are to start. Like I said, they may get minutes. Might be a case that we do get the job done in that first half, and we go, right, Colwell, you get a rest, and then we'll put on Badiashile, or we could see a Badiashile Colwell and give Tosin a rest. I'm not entirely sure, but that back two of Colwell Tosin, I quite like. Colwell's been on fraud watch the last few games, but against Southampton he was solid. Yes, a lot of people say we expect it, but you have to take it as good as your last game, etc., that type of thing. And it's good for his confidence. So I'm going to go with those two as the centre-back partnership. Moving on to right-back, I've gone with Josh Ashimpong. Josh Ashimpong, purely because I can't spell Ashimpong. There we go. Purely because I think this is a fantastic opportunity for him to get more minutes in a Chelsea shirt. And every time he's played for Chelsea, he has been absolutely fantastic. So this could be a really good opportunity to rest someone like Reece James for the weekend and give Ashimpong the well-deserved minutes he's had. Because like I said, every time he's played, he's looked so cool, calm, collected, and natural in his position, doing the job for Maresca. So I'm going to go with Ashimpong in the right-back position more because I want to see him play rather than... I think he will. I actually think he might get minutes. Again, we have that rotation in the Conference League, so we never know. Now, when it comes to the midfield too, this is where I feel we have to go strong because we are very thin in this area, and I'm fully aware we've got Leicester at the weekend. But I'm going with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Like I said, I feel like we have to go strong in a game like this. I don't want to be seeing KDH in that pocket. I just don't. I don't think he can be good enough in a game like Copenhagen, because I feel like people are overlooking how good Copenhagen will be. They're also a team that are regularly in the Champions League, just like we are, and found ourselves in this competition. That doesn't automatically mean they're naff, and it's not going to, we're going to steamroll them. Potentially we could, right? However, I feel like we're going to need a very strong midfield, and I don't feel confident with KDH being in those roles. I think Caicedo's got the engine. I think Enzo Fernandez is usually the one that takes the rest on these types of games. But I feel like Caicedo and Fernandez in there is just to shore up that midfield and get the job done in the first leg. Moving on to the left wing, I've actually had a little thought about the front four, and I've got a little bit creative, moved people around what potentially may happen. But on the left wing, I'm going with Tyreek George, I'm going with Tyreek George, if I could spell. Purely because, again, I feel like he is also... I can't spell, mate. Tyreek George. Why is he on it twice? All right, cool. Tyreek George on that left-hand side. I feel like he deserves to start. I feel like he deserves minutes because, again, every time he's played for Chelsea, he has been fantastic. I think it's like 4 games, 3 assists or something silly like, and a goal. Like, this guy is unreal, and he's so raw. Like, his game's developing, but you can see the raw talent. He's always going at players, at the defenders, always trying to create, trying to shoot. He's just very direct, and I feel like he suits Maresca's system very well. And I think like a game like Copenhagen, he could be a bit of a wild card in terms of how Copenhagen might not be able to know how he's going to set up. So I feel like Tyreek George can get some well-deserved game time on that left-hand side. In the number 10 role, I've actually gone with Christopher Nkunku. And that is because... I feel like that we are only going to use Cole Palmer if we need him. Just because he's in the squad, I don't think he's going to be getting 90 minutes every single game. I feel like this is a very good opportunity to rest someone like Cole Palmer, right? Because we've all been screaming out how tired and burnt out he is. this is a perfect opportunity to give him a full week of rest so he can then play against Leicester on Sunday. So Nkunku can naturally drop into that number 10 role. And again, it's the Conference League. We know the standards are a bit different, a little bit lower than the Premier League expectations, and we are playing someone Copenhagen. Now, Chelsea in Europe, we typically play well in Europe, so we have like a good pedigree there. And I feel like Nkunku can definitely do a job at a 10. And again, I wanted to put him on the left-hand side, but then I thought to myself, are we realistically going to start Cole Palmer in these Conference League games unless we absolutely have to bring him on? Again, he might get minutes in the second half, but I feel like Maresca's going to use it as a prime opportunity to rest him for the weekend. Going on to the right wing, I'm going with Jadon Sancho because Noni, as far as I'm aware, is still injured. Now, this is being done just before the press conference with Maresca, so this could be a little bit wrong. And also could be wrong because my brain might just be working in a completely different way to Enzo Maresca, which it probably is. But I'm going to go with Jadon Sancho on the right wing. We know that he can play there. He played there against Southampton to allow Nkunku on that left-hand side, Palmer in the middle. But I feel like that attacking three is, I think that's powerful. You know, you've got George, direct, breaks the lines. Sancho, direct, breaks the lines when he can. Well, he's also very safe as well and likes to play balls backwards. But again, I feel like this can be a game where there are a lot of space to exploit, and I feel like Copenhagen can be stretched, and I feel like Sancho can exploit that very, very well. That obviously leaves the number 9. No Mark Guéhi, no Nicholas Jackson, and we're not putting Nkunku there. I'm going for Pedro Neto, mate, because Pedro Neto has been absolutely fantastic in that number 9 role. Now, I know that Enzo Maresca has said a few times now, Neto can't play 2 games in a week, and I get that. He's again wrapped in bubble wrap, injury prone. Got to look after him. I feel like he's got to play. You know, what was it, 3 goal contributions in 3 games in that false 9 role? It speaks for itself. He's very direct. He's so quick. Link up plays great. He can finish. He's ambidextrous. He can use both feet. And I feel like he could be a super useful target when it comes to being a number 9 for Chelsea against Copenhagen. Again, something different. They're not really going to be expecting. So I feel like Pedro Neto fits that role very well. So that is my Chelsea 11 for Copenhagen in the round of 16 of the Conference League. So that's my predicted Chelsea 11 to face Copenhagen in the first leg of the round of 16 of the Conference League. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. Now, if you did watch the end of the video, there'll be a thumbnail that appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.